Hello, everybody. Anthony Alfie here. We're going to try something new. We are recording our Raw Reacts. I didn't forget about it at all. We're recording it on the new Inside Edge network. We got things we like, a couple things I didn't like about Raw. So let's get right to it. And I want to start with main event Jey Uso. You see the headline right there. Main event Jey Uso. He's being groomed. He is being groomed to become the next Roman Reigns. Except you almost get the feeling that he's going to be even more pure evil than Roman. I love from a show standpoint how it was all set up. It's been set up for weeks now. Jey has motivation. Jey thought he could do it his way when he won the world title. He lost, as I said before, he lost on a random episode of Raw to Gunther. And he wants to be at the top again. He wants to be back at the top. And now, 5 years, if you recall, that Hell in a Cell match with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, that was 5 years ago to this month in September. When that happened, it was a matter of, Roman trying to explain to Jey, like, do you understand what's going on? Do you understand why I need to do the things I need to do? Jey Uso's always been about why can't I be the one to provide for the family? He's always had the mentality. His brother, Jimmy Uso's never had that mentality. Jimmy has always been, hey, I'm along for the ride. I'm cool. I'm going to look out for family. I'm going to look out, but he's along for the ride. He doesn't have those leadership qualities. Jey Uso has that. Or Jey Uso has the leadership qualities to elevate the family to the next level and keep that championship lineage going. And Roman knows, like, time is almost up in this world. And in this, God, sounds like he's about to die. I don't mean like that. But, like, in wrestling. So, he's looking at Jey. It's like, you're the guy. You're the guy. Love the detail, though. You had that shot, Roman, who I didn't expect to come back, by the way, yesterday. So that's a good surprise. But Roman comes back, takes out the bronze, and handles business. And then that shot in the middle. Hands on the shoulder. Jey Uso's on the other side. And in the middle, Jimmy Uso saying, what the heck? What the helly? 6'7". Now, earlier that night, Jimmy was like, wait a minute. Jey, how come you didn't come out, help us? Or, with LA Knight, and myself, I was down. And Jey was just fed up. He's like, LA Knight is irrelevant. Basically saying LA Knight's irrelevant in the greater good of what we're trying to accomplish. And and then he slipped up, or maybe he did slip up. He said, look, you have never won a world title. I have. So it's that glimpse of being there, winning it, and then losing. And it's like, when you're older, you're wiser. Jey is more wise in terms of what's going on. A lot to unpack, but, man, I texted Kyle and, like, Bloodline's effing back. The juicy Bloodline story. I think we've moved on from the third inning. I want to say now, because you had the solo stuff and everything from last year, I think now we can say we're in the fifth inning. We'll soon be in the sixth inning. So I think we're moving. Loved it. Loved the development. Again, talk about things I liked real quick. Cody and Seth, years ago, we got to a point where WWE, it's that time of the month. We have to force said storyline, right? It's that time of the month. We have to do all Hell in a Cell matches or Elimination Chamber matches or, this match or this match. And I'm not saying it all went away, but it seemed, last year, like the whole crown jewel concept of, champion versus champion. It was kind of stupid. Mania 38 resonates back to Mania 40. It almost seems like Seth Rollins has been involved with 2 feuds in the last 5 years. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Like, nothing has been different. From those 2. You might have side quest feuds, but really, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Those are the 2 guys. But they're going to meet up. Cody and Seth, champion versus champion, but this runs deep. I liked how Seth tried to set it up. Maybe he went overboard, and then Cody Rhodes said he went overboard. But it's done purposely. Seth is 0-3, as everybody's pointed out. He's 0-3 in beating Cody. How desperate is Seth Rollins going to be in winning this match? For Cody, all-American, good guy, everything's cool. Does he really need to win the match? Seth Rollins needs this match. He needs it bad. You know why he needs it bad? He's telling us that he needs this match bad. That he needs to do this. So curious to see how it continues to play out. We saw the elements from SmackDown, which full disclosure, I still need to watch the full episode of SmackDown, especially considering that the number 1 trending topic in wrestling conversation is what happened with the women's match, the ending of it, which we'll have thoughts. Excuse me. We'll break it down Friday morning on the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast. Kyle and I will go over it, see what happens. But Cody and Seth off to a good start. And then a little minor but it's pretty cool. Dominik Mysterio cheered by the crowd. Rusev never turned, by the way. So, yeah, heels versus heels. But Dominik overwhelmingly cheered. This wasn't oh, crap, we got 2 heels. We got to figure out who we need to cheer for. This was that crowd was locked in on Dominik. I liked, we've been seeing the Eddie Guerrero finish for 20-some years. The chair down. I love the little wrinkle. The ref caught it. It was like, I saw what you did there. It ain't gonna work. And then Dom and Rusev got into a tussle in the corner. Ref stuck in the middle in the corner. And then a little blow. Crowd cheers. One of the loudest reactions of the entire night. Gets it done. So, loved it there. And I didn't write it down, but it's worth mentioning too. Bayley and Lyra continuing to knock it out of the park. Lyra's acting skills are very impressive. Very impressive. You got to be able to sell the craziness of Bayley in these type of stories. And Lyra's doing a phenomenal job with her acting and presentation. Logically, she's making sense. A mix of why would I go out there? And also at the same time, crap, I do care. If I want to go overly deep on this story, I kind of wish Bayley had somebody else too would kind of point out talent backstage, Bayley's going a little nuts. That would add a little bit more to the depth of the story. The way that Rhea Ripley's talking with EO for weeks, kind of like somebody backstage, maybe a Natalya, maybe Maxine, even though she's caught in a feud with Bayley or with Becky. Somebody backstage hey, what's going on over there? That would add a little bit more depth. But overall, Lyra's doing a great job. Bayley, of course, knocking it out of the park. The crazy split personality. How far will they go with this? We have seen a good chunk this year of tag teams that don't get along come together to win tag team gold. We saw with Judgment Day, hard to believe, but there was a good chunk of time when Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez did not get along with each other. The whole inclusion of Roxanne into Judgment Day. Of course, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss on Fridays. That was the whole story of odd relationship. Are we going to run it back for a third time? So, Michael, how far do you go with this story? That's what I'm saying here. How far do you go? Do you go, hey, Bayley and Lyra, hey, let's team up again. Go for tag team gold. Or do you pull the trigger? It can be tempting. Let's see how far they can go with this. Let's see. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how creative they can go with this. What will be the final straw for Lyra? Will it be Lyra? Like, how will the crowd react? It's interesting. It's an interesting twist. All right, quickly, things I didn't like about Raw. And again, we're only reviewing Raw. We're not reviewing anything else. We're just reviewing Monday Night Raw. You see what happens when there's no setup. When there's no setup, people may not know what's going on. So AJ Styles, fans from 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, they're excited about the match. But none of the kids, none of the parents in the crowd really, or a good chunk of those guys who may not have watched the product, they have no clue why AJ Styles is facing John Cena. None. So I personally enjoyed the, AJ Styles, it's going to do one of my favorite things, beat up John Cena. I personally enjoyed it. But there were people in the crowd who don't have it back. They have no knowledge. So some of the people in the crowd, newer viewers, they're thinking, wait a minute, AJ Styles has been a babyface all this time, and suddenly he wants to beat up John Cena? So, yeah, that was met with some boos. But no setup, no reaction. And I understand this is a limited story because John Cena does not have an appearance scheduled until Crown Jewel. So it's really going to be AJ Styles kind of carrying this. But it almost seems like to me, AJ Styles is really in another story, which he is, while at the same time, oh, by the way, I have a match with John Cena. It seems very, 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 very random. I don't know if it's best for business in terms of the story. Again, I understand why they did it. We talked about it on the main show last week. It's the one match where you announce it online. People who were around as fans 10 years ago wouldn't complain. Oh, hell yeah, we get Cena and Styles. Absolutely. But after Cena lost, got demolished by Brock Lesnar, to suddenly have somebody say, oh, I get to face John Cena. A little iffy. So they got one show to go, by the way, to really put that story over before they try to convince people to tune in the Crown Jewel 8 a.m. on the ESPN app. We did hear, by the way. Oh, the other last thing I didn't like about Raw. I'm not the Grande Americano, and the tag team does have names. Bravo is the guy with the blue mask. Rayo, I think that's the other guy in the red mask. Bravo blue, Rayo red. Okay, I can remember that. The shorter guys. But it seems like there's no end in sight with the Americanos, and I don't know. I think that story, in my opinion, has lost a bit of creative juice. But overall, Raw was fine. And WWE is in an interesting position right now because I think because of the amount of money people have to spend to watch everything, you gotta have a Netflix account. This is for non-VPN people here in the States. You need a Netflix account to watch Raw. You need an antenna, which I have behind me. This is an antenna, or YouTube TV or cable to watch NXT on the CW, or an antenna. You flat out need cable to watch SmackDown. You need the ESPN app, the paid subscription, if you don't have the cable synced, to watch the premium pay-per-views, premium live events. But then you also need Peacock to watch NXT, the NXT PLEs, and Saturday Night's Main Event, which is where John Cena's retirement match is going to take place. What do you do, right? What do you do? So I think we're at a point, and I'll say this too, SmackDown's on Fridays. Again, I'm busy on Friday nights for a 15-week stretch. So me finding time to watch SmackDown is a bit of a challenge. So I think some people may have different perspectives on how they feel about WWE based on the programs they're able to watch. And I think now, because things are so split, maybe you do just watch Raw. Maybe you do just watch NXT. Maybe you just watch SmackDown. Maybe you just tune in for the PLEs every month. I don't know. Based on my personal schedule, there's a reason why we have just done Raw Reacts. I apologize for not doing a React last week. I was sick as a dog last week. Sick as a dog. It was crazy. But NyQuil, DayQuil, took that for a couple days. The medicine did its thing. And then by Thursday, Friday, last week, I was back on track. And I'm good now, just lingering. I'm good. So I think people are going to have different perspectives of what they think of the WWE product. Some will think it's really good. Some may not think it's good. But also at the same time, if you just watch Raw, maybe you think Raw's good. Maybe you don't care about what's going on SmackDown. Maybe you're not watching NXT and the Invasion. Well, they changed the name. It's the Showdown angle with TNA and NXT. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. That's going to do it. Matter of fact, since we're live, let me see something here. All right, I'll flip that in a second. I have a potato in the air fryer. So that's the fan that you hear in the background. Hope the internet's kept up. I saw the Wi-Fi signal, so probably didn't. So the react was probably so. All right. Stay close. Stay tuned. Follow all of our programs inside Edge.net. You can follow all the wrestling stuff on the Side Hustle podcast, Side Hustle Wrestling podcast, where this will be posted, as well as the Inside Net Network, Inside Edge Network. So a lot of cool stuff. And don't disrespect my camera. I'm using the work camera. So, and I'm sorry I weren't blue. I just realized this, but go Guardians. Hopefully they better take game 2 tomorrow or the season is over. Well, how about that? All right. You guys have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and flip on NXT here and flip this potato as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Happy to do the Raw Reacts again.